Okay, hello, welcome. The Key Bridge, this bridge collapse in Baltimore. When I heard about this, I was like, ooh, because I'd just done two. Well, I didn't do two videos on it, but I did the 24th of March. I did that Madonna Dallas thing. There was a ton of stuff for it, and also tying into that was the 25th as well, because she was still in Dallas, and there was also some. I'd looked in in a few of my tables and bits and bobs, and there were still links running into the next day as well. So I was kind of hot for the Dallas thing. Obviously nothing happened, but then the following day we had this, and I immediately said to myself, I've got to go and check and just see the name of the ship and just have a quick glance through to see if there's any kind of links back to Madonna with this thing. Anyway, obviously the fact that it was in Maryland was, yeah, kind of a link. And then the fact that we had we had quite a lot of symbolism with the idea of the bridge collapsing, like the thing that connects both sides of reality. Yeah, that archway that is the thing that's the balance point. Finding that the arc between the Ark of the Covenant, the arc between the physical and the metaphysical sides of reality. Okay. Now, obviously, the whole thing with it being on water, the sailing vessel's like our own little mini matrix, if you like. So obviously, I was like, oh, it'd be interested to see what the name of the ship is for sure, because of that link with the idea of, that's almost like the sort of mini ego matrix that we create for ourselves. We're the captain on board of that thing, and then we're floating around in the bigger metaphysical ocean, if you like. So there's a lot of symbolism there to deal with. Anyway, I was like, well, you know what? I went and looked at the name, and of course, I've seen it, and I'm like, if you stick, obviously, the name is Dali. Okay, I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation of that. You think of, if you were to put it in Google, you're going to get Salvador Dali. Okay, but I actually don't know why. I haven't looked up why it was called Dali, but also you could pronounce that Dali. Okay, and don't dilly dally. This is the last warning, sort of thing. I don't know. But when I saw it, it looked like it could be Dali, and I've just been doing I just did a video on Madonna in Dallas, and then if you go to Google and you put in Dali, you're going to get Salvador Dali. I'm like, Dali S, Dallas. Like, strange that it was. I mean, I know that's a stretch for people, but again, it's just, it could have been a million other names. It managed to be reasonably close to Dallas. I don't know, I mean, it could have only really been, 4 or 5 names to reference really well, maybe several names would have referenced Madonna. I don't know, Mary, Madonna, Madge, and all those kind of variances on it. And I guess we could have had some of her other names. But it could have been anything else, polar bear or something completely random that didn't tie into this at all. But instead we had Dali, or Dali, and of course Dali S, Dallas. I don't know. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this symbolism, And I thought, you know what? I'll go check up the charts and everything, have a look at the double cross of Lorraine chart, and I'll check those other two charts that I've just been looking at recently with the King's Cross and the Queen's Cross, for the 695. Anyway, I couldn't find those three numbers stuck together anywhere in there, you know, not without flipping a 6 to a 9 or rearranging them or something. I just kind of wanted them either reading forwards or backwards, and I couldn't find it. So 695, though, I tell you what was interesting. And I mean, I don't know. Let's go to the chart and I'll show you what I've got, and you might think it's interesting or you might not. So what I did is I drew in the bridge in the chart of Lorraine, okay? Because the 6 and the 9 and the 5 are either side of the sort of the three towers, yeah? Hang on a minute. You know, obviously, Tower 1, Tower 2, and Tower 7 here, okay? Now, the fact that they're all stuck in the middle, right? That was, you know, it's pretty interesting. You know, when you do this jump over, you know, you have to kind of fudge it a little bit because 5 and 9 are actually separated here, whereas 60 here is 2 digits stuck together, but it's not really a digit because it's a 0. And you know, anyway, this is what I came up with. I just drew the basic shape of the bridge. We've got the road deck running through above the numbers of pi here, and obviously if the road is Interstate 695, that makes sense to have kind of the roadway running along here, and I just thought it fit, you know. It just fit. So anyway, there it is. You can see it. Now, being the Key Bridge, right, the Francis Key Bridge, and again, Francis Scott Key, you know, that is absolutely loaded with, you know, Francis and Scott, very, very metaphysical names, okay, with the Cross of St. Andrew with the blue and white, and then Francis. Frank is always the guy that's stuck in the system, yeah. So again, very, very interesting names there. But the key, and I think I saw We Seek mention about the keystone and the capstone and some other bits and bobs. But of course, the keystone, when you're dealing with a bridge, back in the olden days when they used to make these out of stone, okay, or brick, but I'm mainly thinking stone here. The keystone is the center stone that basically holds the arch together. Okay, once that stone is in place, the arch is super strong. So it's a super important, it's a super important stone. And again, we have what I want to say is we have a reference to, you know, look at the shape of the bridge. It's like the bow, yeah, the bow, which is again the womb, okay, and then the keystone is like the arrow, yeah. So that's the thing that fits in the middle. That's the phallic symbolism, and the rest of that is the feminine symbolism, okay. So that's important just to recognize that, you know. And again, if we do a stylized bow, a sort of I don't know what you even call that, a bloody Arab recurve type thing, I don't know, and you put the bow in there again, you know, you're kind of getting to this, you know, 8-1 symbolism again, okay. And again, 8-1 is super important. This is what we've got as the keystone here, 8-1, okay. And in those other two charts, we've got a whole row of 1s in those other two charts, and we've got a whole row of 8s, and then every other number is almost completely random. But 1 and 8, those are the two numbers that are repeated in the table, 1s and 8s. So these are very, very, this is important. 1 and 8 is important. Again, if you dissect the number 8 and take basically two parts to it, so you take that part and then you add in the other part here that's missing, but put it around this way, yeah, you're making the heart, okay? And the heart is going to be shot with the arrow, yeah, the number 1 going through it. So that's the number 8, okay, shooting through the heart. So what did I just say? The number 1 shooting through the number 8, shooting through the heart. Okay, so this is really important. Anyway, it's really late. I'm tired. I'm only staying up because I was going to put another couple of logs on the fire. Anyway, this is important. So let's go to Francis Scott, okay, key, and let's have a look at this dude, because what we're going to do is we're going to find something interesting here. We're going to find that his birthday is 8/1 and he dies on 1/1/1, yeah, the 11th of January. Let's go back to the chart. I'll show you this. This is who the bridge is named after. I guess he's the guy that kind of gave us the Star-Spangled Banner. Great. But notice that the 1/1/1 is right at the center of this thing, and the number 8, 1/8, is at the center of this thing. So his birthday and his death date are right at the center of this. Fascinating. Fascinating stuff. What else did I want to mention about this? So we've got his numbers in there. Now, he is associated with a character called, well, I say he's associated, but this comes up in here that, oh, I don't know. There's just the links. We've got a Hoover link in here to the Star-Spangled Banner. It's mentioned, and another thing that's mentioned is, I don't even know where the hell it is in here actually, but he has something to do with a guy called Burr, and he's a lawyer that has something to do with a guy called Burr. Oh, here we are, the Burr conspiracy trial. Okay, and Burr is the guy that killed Alexander Hamilton. And I only bring this up because Hamilton also has that birthday of 1/1/1. Okay, and the death date of Hamilton, this is interesting as well, is July the 12th. But again, this ties back to this whole thing here, because his birthday is here, but his death is actually tied into this 7/11, because this Burr character has a duel with Hamilton on the 11th of July, and then Hamilton dies again on the he dies on the 12th. Okay, so this ties back in. He's shot on that day, and again with the duel, like at the end of John Wick, and I'm thinking Barry Lyndon as well, demanding satisfaction. I just think that's interesting. The only reason really why I bring up Hamilton though is because Hamilton is referenced a hell of a lot, and there's a reason why I think Hamilton is referenced a lot, and let me show you that real quick. Let's go back to this. Let's find this. So Hamilton is on the $10 bill. Okay, now 1010 is XX. Okay, X marks the spot, the double cross. Yeah, we're coming up to that next cross happening. Okay, so it's really important. Obviously, he's also got the Chevy S10 symbolism on here. The Chevy drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. But what's more important than that is that the $10 bill also has the dam fold on it. Okay, if you see where my cursor is, right here where this 10 is written, there's a fold marker right here, and that corresponds over, as we go through the necktie again, okay, back to this other side with the 10 written, and there is a fold marker there, the same as the fold markers in the dollar bill. Okay, so if we fold that there, what we end up with is we end up with the ruffles of Hamilton's tie going over the top of the dam again, just like with Washington. Okay, so this is important. You'll notice that in a lot of films, Ham is referenced a lot. Ham. In fact, I've talked about Damar Hamlin in the in that last video. Hamilton is loaded, but I think because of this fold that's in here. I think that's why it keeps popping up all the time. Okay. Anyway, let's do the last guy here, which is Salvador Dali. Okay. Same last name as the ship. Obviously, S. Dali, or put the S on the end. Dali S. Dallas. Yeah, I know it's a stretch for people, but I'm just on the talking about Dallas, and for it to be that close is just, for me. Anyway, May 11th born. Okay. remember the 5th of November. So May 11th, and then a 1, 2, 3, the 23rd of January. Let's go check that out in the same thing here. Okay. So obviously there's the May 11th there. So again, we're right in the middle of this thing, and then the 1, 2, 3, check it out, is right on this end, and in fact 3, 2, 1 is right here as well. This all ties into the Hoover Dam as well. Okay, with the connection back from the birth of the Hoover Dam through to 9/11 this last year, and then also the federal birth of the Hoover Dam through to 2/11 this year. And remember, 2/11, the start of Fibonacci. Okay, so it's a super important number. Anyway, what do I want to say about Salvador Dali? He did have a picture. I'm not going to go to it, but he had a Madonna picture. I think it was like the Madonna at Port Legat or something. An interesting picture, because again, it contains the elements of the arch, except I actually should have got the picture up, but I can't. I'm not going to go to it. I can't be bothered. It's too late. But it has the elements of the arch within the picture, except the arch is not kind of together. Okay, it needs some mortar between it, and it needs bringing together. And that mortar, again, I think what he's trying to say there in his picture is, that mortar is Jesus, is the thing that holds the whole thing together, a bit like the keystone. Okay, I wish I should have got the picture up, but it's basically just a Virgin Mary with Jesus. Very abstract for sure. But anyway, was there anything else I wanted to say about this? Let's just do one more thing real quick. Let's just go look at and I don't think I'm pretty sure it's not down here. No, it's not. I could probably go to more of his works. They might be down the bottom of here. Hang on, what's that? Let's just whiz down to the bottom and just see, because it might be worth looking at it. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, there it is. Let's look at it. Why not? Let's go through it. Come on, big. See if we get a bit bigger. Okay, this was interesting. Again, the elements of the arch, the bridge. Notice the gaps here. Notice the gap forms a cross here as well. Notice the baby Jesus. Notice the color of the matrix here for the cushion that he's sat on. I can't make out all these other little bits and bobs in here. Notice the key. You could say, well, there's a keystone missing here as well, Dan. Yeah, the keystone's missing. I don't really know what he's trying to say about that, but what I would say is that these negative spaces here, again, are to do with the idea of the Holy Spirit, holding that whole thing together, really. What else to say about it? Purple hue. I was actually talking to Journeyman in a comment about the purple hue, the purple color, of royalty. But where do you see that in nature? At sunrise and at sunset. That's where, unless there's just something weird going on with the sky, some kind of crazy storm or something, that's when you usually see the purple color in the sky. So at sunrise and sunset, sunrise, birth, sunset, death. Okay, birth and death. That point, those 2 points are the point at which the sun is at that transitional stage between complete darkness and complete light. Okay, it's a balance point. Those 2 points are balance points. They're balance points between the living and the dead. That's that point of the Vesica Pisces. So, an interesting color for sure, obviously, which can become a corrupted idea with that because of the cost, the rarity of the color purple back in the day. Obviously, only the wealthy could obtain that color, and so obviously it gets corrupted. And the meanings behind it obviously take on another meaning as well, to do with the corrupt nature of certain families in the world. So anyway, whiffly waffling now. What else to say about this whole thing? I'm not quite sure why she's got this crack in her head here. I don't really need to sit and think about this picture a little bit. There's quite a lot to think about there. Cosmic egg and the clamshell, the mother of pearl. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Don't know why, but I could do with a better resolution on it. Anyway, let's do one more thing. Gematrinator. Oh, no, this is the wrong one. But anyway, while I'm here, let me show you. Let me point this out. Hang on a minute. Let's click these out of the way. And this will make this a bit clearer to you. Train, Madonna, and Dollar. Yeah. All matching up. Again, with the idea of Dollar and Dallas. I don't know. 62, 26, 37. Okay. So I don't know, I've put it in videos before, but I don't know if I've ever stuck all 3 together for you to look at. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to this one. I got a whole bunch of junk in here. Bridge collapse. Obviously, there were some people talking about bridge collapse. Obviously, it happened at 1:28 in the morning. But if we look, bridge collapse also matches up with Madame X with a 1:28, and obviously Maryland as well. Maryland is also a 1:28. Okay, so that was kind of interesting. Notice that ship, yeah, that vessel that carries us, okay, it's that false womb, the womb that we've gone into, the matrix, yeah, it's the thing we created for ourselves, basically, the ship. Again, 5225. We've got the corrupted version of the Cup of Christ at the minute. It's not the Holy Grail, it's the dodgy, I don't know, old polystyrene McDonald's coffee cup Grail. Not very good at all. Anyway, 5225. Note also Madame X with the 25. Okay, I know there's no really good mega matches here, but let's look at Salvador Dali again. You know, he's got the 118. Yeah, those numbers that are at the center of here. Yeah, okay, so that's also important. Yeah, because I mean, you know, got to look at all these little bits and bobs. Let's whiz back to this. Notice that he's got the 26 here, the 26 again with Madonna, the 6226. I've got the letter A in here. I don't know how I know I had that in there, because the actual bridge structure kind of encodes, you know, with those girders and everything, it kind of encodes the A, yeah. And it was Journeyman the other day had mentioned, hey Dan, you know, that I'd shown the center of the Queen's Cross table, and it had the A symbolism. He was saying, hey, it's the Aleph, and that A symbolism. Anyway, I'm not going into all of that right now, but that A symbolism, obviously, is the arrow symbolism. It's the upward arrow. Again, this A is also the keystone. All right. So anyway, we got a 1, 1, and 8 in here in the 26. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting with, again, with Salvador Dali, 8, 8, 26, 206 here, and the 118, and the just interesting. Okay. Patapsco, is that how you say that? That's the river. 28, the 44. Yeah, that was interesting as well, because at the center of the Queen's Cross table is the number 44, and obviously the ship set sail, left on its voyage. It didn't get very far, but it left at 0044. Okay, so that's also interesting, that it's at the center of the obviously that's a date that I would be looking at for Madonna as well. It's right at the center of the Queen's Cross table. Anyway, as we come down through with Madonna there, we can notice that Dali, or however you want to say that, has this 26. Yeah, like with Madonna here. It also has the 2882, so it's kind of tying in with the river name as well. So it's just interesting that these things are kind of tying together. Maryland as well with the 128. Obviously, I had to put the 88 in there, just because, and the 47. Excuse me. And then Baltimore. There was no particular matches, but I thought it was worth leaving this in here because of the 4-1, because the upcoming the day after the resurrection is going to be 4-1, and also, you know, obviously it's another date that I would look at for Madonna because of the clock tower with the 1004 on it, and also because of this 148 here as well, which is interesting, is the hour numbers for Pluto. Yeah, this is the 1.48 days difference in a Pluto year to our years. Okay. What else do I have here? No, see, 95 and 58, obviously pretty interesting numbers anyway. Couple more things. Madonna's name, depending on just the first and last, is a 11475. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but Corbin Dallas with the 5th element. Okay, 114 and a 75 match up with Madonna there. So I thought that was, you know, pretty important. I mean, when you think about the symbolism in that film, starting off at the pyramid, the pyramid. In fact, what is the guy's name? Is it Luke Perry that's in that film as well? It's kind of interesting because I kind of recall he is a 10/11 birthday or something like that, which ties back into the dollar bill, and the pyramid tying back with the dollar bill, and there's just a ton of stuff in there, and obviously the idea of the fifth element, the thing that we're trying to get back to, yeah, and of course Pentecost obviously is the 19th of May this year, isn't it? So yes, super interesting. Francis Scott Key Bridge. Look at the 98 here, the death of the Queen, and again the 127 ties back in with, but I don't have it in here. It ties back in with Madonna somewhere. I can't remember which. I don't think I've got it up here now. I think I got rid of it. No, no. Ah, yeah, there it is. 127. We knew it was in there somewhere. So Madonna 127, Francis Scott Key Bridge 127. I know they're not, you know, I know we're just picking out single matches here. It's not really mega wonderful, but you know, it is what it is. There's a little bit of coherency there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there for the video. You know, I mean, I thought this was pretty interesting. I'll tell you another thing as well is that remember, you know, here is Madonna's numbers right here. Well, actually, you could take that one there, or you could take the one out of the 18 here. So those numbers are Madonna there. Again, as well with Elvis and Elvis's birthday, and Madonna's numbers in there with Elvis with the 1-8. You know, I want to say about it, to be quite honest. It is what it is, you know. Gonna leave it there for the video. Hope you enjoyed that one. Yeah, there's the 88 right there, isn't it, at the bottom of that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on another one here soon. Alright, cheers, bye.